to use a calculator, at least to start out. So I'm just going to put a problem in front of you just to see where you're at. I would rather you not use the calculator to start, but if you're like, hey, I really need one, please feel free. Any idea how to do that?
The formula to do that is somewhere deep within the recesses of my brain. I I remember doing this. I don't remember how.
Right. How about a simpler problem? Could you tell me what uh so this one's written kind of awkwardly. It's really asking 15 out of 40. Um any idea how to do that as a percent? Or maybe go to a decimal first?
Um, I know I have to get the 40, the bottom to 100, and
Yeah, I was going to
then
suggest that. And
divide.
yeah, that's a good thing to do. So let's come back to that. Let's say it's a 32 out of 100. What is that as a percent?
30, yeah, 32%,
Yeah. Now, what if it's 5 out of 10? What is that as a
50%.
50%? Good. Why is that not working? Okay. How about if it's 2 out of 100? What is that as a percent?
2%.
It is 2%. Okay, so I think you've got enough down here. Like you want to go from 40 to 100. Any guess as to what that could be? Like,
Like
is it,
multiply
yeah, multiplied by is it, can you tell me which two numbers it's near or between?
is between times two
Like,
and times three,
yes.
between those.
So let's just say it's right in the middle. Okay. What is 15 times 2 and what is 15 times 3?
10 times 2 is 30. 15 times 3 is 45.
Are there any answers between 30 and 45?
Yeah, the B and C.
Okay. So which do you think it is? Do you think it's closer to 30, closer to 45, right in the middle? What do you think? What
Uh,
does your intuition tell you?
I'm thinking it's closer to 45.
Okay, so is it B or C?
B.
It is B. Okay. All right. Let's do what percentage of 80 is 30? Okay. So what is the fraction that I'm asking you to do here?
30 over 80.
30 over 80. We want to get to 100. So what is the multiplier there?
Uh, times less than 2.
So somewhere between 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is 30 times 1 or times 2?
Uh, 30 or 60.
Okay, so are there any answers we can eliminate in this problem?
Um, no.
Okay. So sometimes you can't eliminate any. Like that's one of the things that was nice about the last one. All right. So sometimes you get answers like this that are a little bit harder to sort of figure out. Um, but that's good. That's kind of a good approach to estimating here. So we're going to do a different problem, but I just wanted you to see that it doesn't always work to kind of estimate, but you should always start there. All right. So let's start with something pretty basic here. What is 100% of 20?
20,
It is 20. What is 200% of 20?
40.
40. So notice that if it's more than 100%, it's it's bigger than the original number.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind as you answer this next question here. Meaning there's probably some answers you can eliminate.
Is it C?
Why is it C?
Because the first two are too small, and the
Okay,
D would be 200% of 2000.
it is C. All right, let's go back and look at some now word problems. All right, um, here's one for you to try. Go ahead and read this one to yourself and see if you can come up with the answer, please.
24%.
It is 24% good. All right, good. How long do you think that took you to answer, by the way?
Um, 10-15 seconds.
About double that. It's actually closer to 30, but the metric is about 1 minute. You want to spend under 1 minute per question if you can. That's always key. All right, here's another problem for you to look at.
C.
Okay, and how confident are you in your answer?
Pretty confident.
Okay, you could be. You got the right answer there. So 5% of 800 may be a tough thing to do by hand. Did you use a calculator or did you do it by hand?
I did it by hand.
Okay.
It's
So
40.
10, yeah, 10% of 800 is 80. So 5% of 800 would be 40 because you're cutting it in half. You got to be careful not to just add the number, but that's very good. Now, what would 1% of 800 be?
8.
8. So now let's just say I wanted 16%. How could I get that from these numbers here?
Could do 8 times 16.
But we already have 10, 5, and 1. What does 10, 5, and 1% add up to?
Okay, you can also do it that way. Um, 128.
So what's interesting to me is that you can actually build percentages out of like the base 10%. And I think we'll do a few problems like that now so you can see kind of the importance of this. Sometimes you don't get a calculator and it's not that bad to estimate. Like let's say, let's say I wanted 17% of 900, which is kind of weird, but why would you want that? Well, this is really 10, 5, 1, and 1%. And 10% is 90. 5% is 45, and 1% is 9 and 9. See how quickly those numbers can come from the percentages?
Yeah,
Now, it may be faster for you right now to multiply, but if you were to like work on the skill, you could get even faster. Could you add these numbers up for us, please?
sure. 153.
We're at 153. Good. All right. So could you do a problem like this for us? Could you find 12% of 480, please?
All right.
Were you having any difficulties with this one?
I'm trying to find the 1%.
So you're that's where I wasn't sure if you were comfortable. You're just moving the decimal each time.
Okay, so it's a little strange.
Yeah, this one, I mean, this doesn't work out perfect. It's not a terrible answer.
So 52.8.
You have to add one for you need two
Oh
of
yeah,
these,
plus the
so you have to add them all together.
so that'd be right. 57.6.
Now, this approach is really useful. Like, let's say I wanted you to find like 19% of 3,200. Okay. You could break this up into 10, 5, 1, 1, 1, and 1. But we actually would not want to do that. The better way is to do 10, 10, and subtract 1. So 10% of this is 320, 320, 32. So you would you'd add those 640 and subtract 32 to get 608. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? So like I'm going to ask you to do 9% of 2,500. I recommend doing this as 10 minus 1%. Would you try that for us, please?
Um, wait a sec. I got 247.5.
Okay, so 10% is 250 and 1% is 25. You just keep moving that decimal over.
Uh,
So it's 250 minus 25.
so 225.
225, yeah. Let's try another one here. Let's say I asked for 8% of 1900. Okay. So to me, this is 10% minus 1% minus 1%. And that's how I'd like you to look at this. Find 10% this number, find 1%. You're just moving the decimal over and then subtract that way.
152.
So 190 minus 19 is 152. Good. Okay. All right. So uh put another couple of problems in front of you before we switch topic. All right. As you read through this one, try to decide if the answer is bigger or smaller than the original number.
B.
Okay. How did you come up with B?
C and D were too large to be
Agreed?
95% of, and A is closer,
Yeah.
but it's not 95%
Good.
of.
Yeah, good. That's really good thinking. Really good thinking. Because the there are sometimes like answers that are just totally unreasonable. Um, all right. Right. Take a look at this one. This is an estimation problem, so you may want to estimate this number before you start.
Okay. $10.
Okay, what is 10% of 7820? Let's just like, what is it roughly?
It's $8.
$8. And then 5% would be,
Oh, okay. I didn't round. I didn't round. Um, so it'd be 12.
yeah, 12. Okay, good job. All right, so we're gonna do another topic now. Like I said, there's not like a lot of geometry stuff, and it's more like the stuff you were doing already. Um, so I don't know if this will make a ton of sense, but we'll do some of the problems like you were doing now, in your class,
All right.
but we'll see. But like I said, there's something you want to work on next time on Wednesday, just let me know. But um, I'm going to help here, but this is related to stuff you're doing last few. Says which of the following equations represents a line that is parallel? Parallel. The parallel means that it has to have the same slope.
Right.
Okay. And unfortunately, you have to solve each of these for y to get the slope. But you can stop. You can stop when you find the right one. I don't have a good answer for you here, but you do have to solve for y in each of these. So why don't you solve the first one for y and let me know what you come up with, and then we'll look at the next couple together if we need to.
I got y equals negative 3x plus 15 over 2.
Okay. And that number doesn't matter. This is the only number that matters. So are those,
Yes, they are the same.
so there you go. There's your answer. All right. Is that kind of clear? Like how we're doing these problems?
Yeah.
Okay. This one's a more basic question. It's kind of related to what we just said. Um, all right. See if you can answer this one on your own, please.
A.
What if we wanted the perpendicular now? How would that change the answer?
That'd be
It is there. It is there as another answer.
1 or
Yes.
yeah, C.
Good. Good. Very good. Okay, we haven't done this in a while. So this is a free response question. It's related to what we were just doing here. So go ahead and take a look at this question. There's no multiple choice here, so you've got to give me the answer. We're going to talk about how to fill in the free response bubble.
Would that be 1/8?
Now, if you haven't taken the test or it's been a while, I'm going to snip in the free response bubble. How would you fill in this free response bubble?
Hmm.
So you said 1/8, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why we're doing this, because sometimes you get the right answer and you don't know how to enter it. One slash, but I believe it will also accept, um, you can start it at any column. So you can actually do this as well. And then believe it or not, there's actually a third way you can answer this one. Um, you know what 1/8 is as a decimal?
Just 0.8.
0.125. So you can actually do it
Oh,
that.
right.
All right. Now, one thing you should notice, there's something that's missing, that appears to be missing from the free response here. You're like missing. Anything that you notice that's missing there that maybe,
From the first column, there is no 0.
okay, agreed. That there's actually two things I think are kind of like interesting. That is true. Um, there's no negatives.
Oh, yeah.
No negatives. So that's kind of interesting. There's also some things that you can never get. Like, let's say your answer was 5.365. Is there enough room to put that on here?
There is not. So would you just round?
No. You redo your problem. Okay. Now you tend to not get these types of things on there, but keep in mind, like the ants that like you're looking for things that are relatively simple, 1/2 or 3/4 or 0.7. You don't get kind of like crazy answers when you're doing this. So just something to think about here. All right. Do another one here. This will lead us into some more questions. Here's another free response, but you can just give me the answer here. Um, we want we want the line that's perpendicular to this line. So first you have to figure out the slope of this line and then determine the perpendicular.
So negative 1/2, negative 1/2.
Try again. Oh, you mean is that your final answer? Sorry.
Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, make sure you
I
figure out the
just
slope of
realized I
this
was
one.
looking at it incorrectly.
Yeah, they put y first to be deceptive, which is common.
So just 1/2.
So
Or
it's 2y equals minus 4x plus 9. You divide by 2. And the thing is, you don't need to divide the other number, like just ignore it. So you're right. The original slope of the original is negative. See, the slope of the perpendicular is 1/2. Good. Okay. So there's a number of problems like that where you first need to determine the slope. Let's look at another one here. So before I give you the multiple choice, could you determine the slope of this line, please?
sure. 2/3x plus 2.
What's the slope? What's the slope
Oh,
of
just
this
the
one, right?
slope.
Yeah,
Um,
you gave it to me, but
2/3.
so what would the perpendicular look like?
Negative 3/2.
Good. Okay. So now when I give you the answers, unfortunately, and this is where it gets, I'll try to help here. Um, I'm not, well, I'm gonna snip this in here. You've probably noticed by now that the number doesn't matter. That number doesn't
Yeah.
matter for finding the slope. All right.
Yeah.
So I want you to find the slope of each of these until you get the one that's negative 3/2. But ignore that number. Just don't write anything or put 0 there or don't even care about it. That will
All
save you
right.
some time.
I think it's A.
Is A. Good.
Wait. Yeah, no, it is.
Okay. So let me see. Yeah, a couple more here like this. This is the closest to what you've been working on in class. Maybe you saw some questions like this on your last test. I'm going to put the full question up in front of you here. I'm going to time you on this one. Um, but don't feel rushed. Just know that I'm trying to get a sense of how quickly you can do some of these. But take a look at that, please, and let me know what you come up with.
All right. think it's A.
You said letter A.
Yeah.
All right. We're looking for the one that's parallel this time, right? You are correct. All
Yeah.
right. Good job. Good job. It's looking to see if we've done all of these. Um, Go back to some other problems here. Okay, the next problem here is about finding the slope. So I'm going to suggest that you first find the slope of this line on the left, and then we can talk about how to find the slope of the other line. So they're parallel, which means they have the same slope. Could you calculate the slope of the one on the left? And try not to overthink it here. It is still rise over run.
2/5.
Your run is always positive. You're always going to the right. So what's the slope there?
1.
2/5, right?
Yeah.
All right. What about the second one here? What's the rise? Can you tell me the rise or the run? One of them is known. Is it the rise or the run?
The the rise.
How much is the rise?
4.
Okay.
4.
So if the slopes are the same, what number needs to go on the bottom here?
10.
There you go. And it happens to be there. Okay. Let's look at another question. I think you're doing real well on these. Maybe you wish you'd seen these before your test. I don't know. Um, all right. In the XY plane, line L has a slope of 2. Line K is perpendicular. That's important. Line K is perpendicular to L. So which of these 4 equations has the right slope? There should be 2 of them.
Killer. C and D.
C and D, yeah. Now, it has to go through the point 4 comma 2, which means you're going to try it in one or the other. You try it in one or the other, and if it works, you've got the answer. If it doesn't work, well, assuming you didn't make a mistake, that means it's the other. So it doesn't matter to me which one you tried, but you're going to try this point in one or the other and see which one it works or doesn't work in.
Okay. Uh, D.
D is the right answer, D is the wrong answer.
D is the right answer.
Okay, very good. All right, kind of a related question here. Could you tell me the slope of this line?
Okay. It's negative. Yeah, negative 2/1.
Good. All right. Now, let's say there's a parallel line that goes through this point right here. Okay, it goes through the point 2 comma 2. What is the x-intercept? I know it's a little bit hard to do, but you're essentially supposed to use the slope to determine that. Where does it cross the x-axis? So the parallel line through this point, where does it cross the x-axis?
The 5, 5.
So from this point, what is the slope in words? What does negative 2/1 mean in words?
Uh, 2.
Down 2 and
Or, uh, d- uh,
right 1. Down
yeah,
2 and
right
right
one.
1. So where does it cross the x-axis?
At
Where does it cross the
I keep
x-axis?
3. I
3.
was thinking about the y-axis.
Well, we're going to do that. That was the next question is where does it cross the y-axis? And what do you say?
5,
Not 5.
not 5.
This is 4. I got to go up 2 more. It ends up being 6.
Oh, right.
All right. We are going to stop there for today. Good job. Good effort on a a non-school day. I appreciate